Welcome back to Main Street Living. Ladies, one thing I know that does not discriminate this time of year, regardless of race or even a pandemic, is certainly hard times, and it can hit anyone at any time.
Yeah, I know, Quincy.
So
And the
true.
face of hunger in America is changing. And due to the pandemic, many now find it tougher to make ends meet. But thankfully, many communities are stepping up. And joining us now from Feeding San Diego is the Director of Programs, Dana Henderson. Welcome to Main Street Living. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Feeding San Diego and what you guys are doing during these hard times.
Sure. So Feeding San Diego is on a mission to connect every person facing hunger to nutritious meals by maximizing food rescue. We are a local food rescue organization. We have in the past year distributed over 31 million meals to the community through 320 partners such as local charities, schools, faith communities, meal sites, and food pantries. And we do this through our 5 different initiatives, and those focus on different populations that we serve throughout the county. So our initiatives include our Feeding Kids initiative, Feeding Kids and Families, Feeding Seniors initiative, focusing on older adults, Feeding Families, focused primarily on our rural communities in San Diego, and then our other partners throughout the county, Feeding Heroes, which focuses primarily on feeding active duty military and veterans, and then our Feeding Excellence initiative, which is around advocacy, public policy work. So, we really aren't a traditional food bank in a sense because our primary focus is on food rescue. And that really helps get high quality food that would otherwise go to the landfill to people in need, while also reducing the impact of food waste on our environment.
Which is so important. And I can't imagine that things have been made any easier by COVID-19. So how has that kind of impacted your organization?
Yeah, definitely. So we've actually seen a 50% increase in demand since the beginning of COVID, which is significant. And as a response, we launched emergency food distributions throughout the county of San Diego, while also working to expand distributions that we already had going in specific regions. So that could include sending additional food or additional resources to continue to really help those in need. And we really had to pivot the way that we were doing our distributions in order to keep people safe, right? So we had to shift our model to a low or no contact style. So most of our distributions are actually drive-through. So folks can come and get food.
Oh, wow.
They put their trunk, volunteers come place the food in their trunk. And no one really has to touch or interact in close contact with one another, but they're still getting those resources that they need. We've also been impacted because we've seen a decrease in some of our food rescue at local grocery stores and manufacturers, and really have had to purchase some more food to really be able to meet that 50% increase and make sure that folks in the community have access to nutritious food.
I'm glad you guys are doing that because it's so important to eat healthy too during these times. And I think a lot of communities around the nation are doing similar things that you're doing. I'm so glad that you're stepping up to do this. And, we talked about the face of hunger changing, and it's different now. I mean, it doesn't discriminate.
Right. And, to be honest, hunger has always been prevalent in our community, but COVID has definitely exacerbated the problem. So many people, are seeking our services and are seeking access to additional food. We saw a lot more folks visiting our website, and we have a find food map on our website that allows folks to go type in their zip code and they can find their local food distribution or pantry, and they're able to visit that hopefully that same day or very close to it. We hear stories every day of people having to make tough choices, either, choosing between paying for rent or paying for food, and paying for medical bills or paying for food. Maybe someone has their car break down and they can't afford to fix it, or they're out of the job. So, it just takes one little thing to kind of put someone over the edge. And so if we can provide that food piece and sort of alleviate that one worry that they may have, that can really help people make ends meet, especially in these hard times. And we do know that, with continuation of schools being closed and businesses being closed, that we have a long road ahead, and we're really here and prepared to continue to meet that demand.
For sure. And I mean, obviously we want to help, everybody wants to help. So you've kind of touched on this. You told us about your website. How can people help, and where does their money go?
Sure. So right now, monetary donations are critical as we can really maximize every dollar to turn it into nutritious meals for folks in the community and for people in need. That's because we work with wholesalers and manufacturers. So buying in bulk allows us to stretch your dollar further, right? And to really continue to help those in need. And so every dollar donated helps. $1, $5, $10. Every dollar helps. And really, we're using that to sustain, as I was mentioning, our emergency distributions throughout the county to be able to provide that nutrition-dense food to the community, to families, to veterans, to seniors, really anyone in need, and to our rural communities as well. In San Diego, you may not think we have rural communities, but we do out in our
It's so
county.
true. I mean, there's places like this around the country as well. Thank you so much for joining us today for that information. We appreciate all you're doing.
Yeah, thank you for having me and for championing this great cause.
Absolutely.
Of course. All right, well, stick with us because we have more to talk about with the holidays coming up. And remember, if you're looking for gifts, you can always give the gift of science.
Ooh.